Hey, it's Kim back with another video, and I always say it's gonna be a quick one, and it's not a quick one. But today I think it's actually going to be a quick video. Today I'm going to be talking all about my tips for how to plan your first custom planner. Now, I know this video isn't for everyone. Not everyone wants a custom planner. Not everyone's interested. Not everyone wants to spend that kind of money. Whatever, this is not for everyone. But there might be a select few who are interested in knowing what to do or how to go about setting up or ordering a custom planner. When I was trying to do some research and figure out where to go, what to do, how to find resources, I didn't really have a video or anything that led me directly to some specific tips about how to set up a custom planner. I actually think I found one video, and if I find it again, I'll have it linked down below. I'll see if I can locate that. But I couldn't really find any resources that sort of pooled all of the information into one nice, neat package. So that is my goal for today's video. I teased this a little bit in my last VDS planner unboxing, and I did get a little bit of interest. I got some comments on Instagram asking for more information about how to go about ordering a custom planner. And these are just gonna be my personal tips, Kim's tips about, the things that I felt or the things that I thought would be most important for me when I was setting out on my journey to order a custom planner. Now, I preface this by saying there's only one planner company that I've dealt with that creates leather planner covers, and they are based in the Netherlands, and they do an amazingly fantastic job. If you are in the planner community, you know I'm speaking of Vanderspec. Their website is VDS Shop. This is not sponsored in any kind of way. This is just the information that I found that was available out there. There are other luxury or higher end planners available, but none of them can be customized in this way to my knowledge. Of course, if you have other sources or other shops that you know of, please don't hesitate to leave that information down below, because we like planners. So we want to order all the planners. I just wanted to preface this with that, saying that there's only one shop that I'm talking about in this video on how to order a custom planner. So let's get started. All right, my first and most important tip is to get samples. Make sure you order samples of the leathers. Now, if you are a person who's really into leather, if you are a person who is sensitive to colors, sensitive to textures, and the tactile experience of those leathers, order samples. What you see online or what you see in photos on Instagram may not always depict the true color for you in real life. So just order samples. I know it can be a little bit, you might be a little hesitant to order samples because you feel like, well, I have to order the samples and then I have to wait a couple of weeks to receive them. And then once I do decide on what planner I'm going to order, then after I place my order, I have to wait several more weeks to receive the planner. So it does sort of feel like it makes the whole process very long and very drawn out, but I promise you it will be well worth it. Order samples. And this is something that I've done. Currently, I've ordered 3 customs and 1 ready-made planner from Vanderspec. And when I ordered my first custom, I was pretty sure what I was getting into, so I didn't order a sample. So don't do like I did. Don't do like I did, but make sure you do order samples. Now, the reason why I didn't is because, like I said, I was pretty sure what I was getting into. I knew the tone and the color of the leather. I had seen 1,000,001 examples of what it looked like. So I had a really good idea of what to expect and the experience that I was going to receive when I got the planner. And I was right. But sometimes with a lot of the other colors, you may not have that much information available to you online, so it would behoove you to order samples. That way you can see how some of the tones relate to one another, especially if you're planning a bi-color planner or tricolor or however many colors of leather you want in one planner. You can see how they all relate to one another. Some might have warmer undertones than others. Some might have a different texture than others, and maybe once you see them side by side, you'll think even though the colors work, maybe the tones don't really work so well, or it's not the look or the objective that you're really going for. So having those samples allows you to see all of those things IRL, in real life, so that you can experience them for yourself and make the best educated decision for yourself. The next tip I have is to test the size first. Now this one may not apply to everyone. If you are a tried and true A5 lover and user, then maybe you don't have to do so much testing and trying. But if you're switching to a completely new size for you, like you want to go to a personal size, or you want to try out A6, because there aren't a lot of A6 planners available on the market, or planner covers available on the market, and you think that this will be a great size for you, but you're just not sure because you haven't tried it out. Don't order it. Test it out first. And there are a few ways to test it out. If you are one of the more creative ones among us, you may want to create sort of like a mock-up of this size planner. You could use cardboard to create something, you know, that would resemble the same dimensions of, using our example, of an A6 planner. Or what you could do is actually just get an inexpensive one, maybe from Amazon. And I've seen them less than $10, definitely less than $20, but you can get an inexpensive planner cover, test it out, use it for a little while and see how you like it. You may or may not want to invest that little bit of money up front to try it out, but if it's a new size for you, it's something that I do strongly recommend. Before you go and spend a lot of money on a custom higher end planner, you want to make sure you're going to use it. You want to make sure you're going to like it. Actually, you want to make sure you're going to love it. So it's worth the time and worth the effort to try out the size. Now, if you are already confident that maybe this binder cover or this planner cover is a size that's going to work for you, or you feel like you don't necessarily need to mock it up necessarily, but you want to make sure that the insert sizes are going to work for you. And I think this is more important. You want to make sure for the way you plan, for the way you are most productive in your life, whatever insert you choose to use, you want to make sure that that size works for you. So this is pretty simple. You can take some cheap copy paper or some scrap paper that you may have laying around, cut it down to the dimensions and the size of the planner that you're thinking about using, do a few mock-ups and layouts to see if it's gonna work for you. Like, can I fit a week on one page in this particular size? Will I need a week on 2 pages? Is this completely too small for me entirely? So using an actual example piece of paper, an example with the dimensions that this planner is going to be, will be extremely helpful for you if you haven't used this size before. And in sticking with sizes, I think the next most important tip I would have is if you live in a country that uses the imperial number system, you may want to familiarize yourself with the metric system. I live in America. We use imperial units of measurement, and the planners that you're going to order, they'll give you the dimensions in inches. However, I do feel when you get the dimensions in millimeters or centimeters, that's a bit more exact and it gives you a better understanding of the size of the planner cover. So when you're doing your mock-ups or when you're printing out these pieces of paper, these inserts that you're going to use, it may be important to use the metric system. Also, a reason why I think it's important to familiarize yourself with the metric system is because when you are adjusting and you're making this custom planner, it's tailored to you exactly the way you like it, love it, and are going to need it. I'll go back to the example of an A5. So if you use an A5 planner, I have heard people say that the A5 manager from VanderSpec is really big, especially compared to other A5 size planners on the market. So maybe in your customizations, you want to make it a little narrower, or make it a little shorter, or something like that. You're going to be dealing with millimeters. You're not going to really be dealing with quarters of inches. So you want to understand, if you say, I want to shorten this or decrease this by 2 millimeters per side, you got to know what 2 millimeters is, what that really looks like. So this goes back to, maybe you want to use a mock-up to kind of get a better sense of the size of the planner that you're going to receive, the size of the planner that you want to order, size of the planner that you need. And kind of like a bonus tip, I would highly suggest to check out the resale market. Check out the resale market for these custom planners or even other high-end luxury planners. There is a very wide market for them. People are always buying them. They may switch out of planner sizes, so they want to sell it to the next person. They want to fund their next obsession. Maybe they're loving a different size or want a different leather, so they're going to sell the custom that they already have. So there is a pretty extensive resale market out there that you could find. Now this is gonna do two things for you. I think if, like I said, you're a person where patience is not your virtue, and you don't want to wait 2 to 3 months to receive your custom planner, this is a much quicker option. If you just want a basic planner, or if somebody made customizations that you think will definitely work for you, you can just buy it from that person who is selling it, and you'll receive it in a matter of weeks as opposed to a matter of months. And while it's not always cheaper necessarily, especially if it's a popular leather or something that's in really high demand, it'll be a lot faster. And the next thing that this resale market could do for you is give you the experience of these planners in a more timely fashion. So I know I mentioned buying sort of like a tester or like a cheaper planner from Amazon to test it out and see how you like it. I mean, you could do that on the resale market. You could just buy one that's been reduced and you feel like you get a lot of use out of it, but only do that if you think, or if you are pretty sure that you could probably sell it again yourself. So don't buy one that's like neon green and neon orange, because the likelihood of someone else who's gonna wanna buy that from you is quite slim, or it may take you a long time to resell it. But if you're buying just maybe like a basic black planner, you'll probably have a higher chance of being able to sell that once you receive your custom planner, or once you order your custom planner that you think you're going to love. And this rolls into my biggest, most important tip is Facebook. Try Facebook. Now I talked about the resale market. All of these marketplaces or avenues by which or through which you can purchase a used planner, a lot of them are on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you can find some on Mercari or eBay, but I believe the largest pool of planners for sale that you're gonna see is probably on Facebook and a lot of the Facebook planning groups. And this is a great resource for you, not just for the resale market, but specifically to get a better understanding of the planners that are offered by the company, also to get a better understanding of what colors might look like next to one another. I know what I've done in the past. Before I had certain leather samples, I just put out a post and I asked, can anyone tell me how this color leather compares to that color leather? And of course, there are some amazingly helpful people in the community who will put up pictures and show, you know, different comparisons and side by side and different lightings and all of that good stuff. So all of the information that you want to know, all of the information that you want to find out. When I had questions about the pocket size planner that I was going to order, and I wanted to know how Pocket Plus inserts fit, I got a ton of help as well. People showing me photos of the planners that they had widened or they had customized, or the planners that came in the standard sizes and they put the Pocket Plus inserts in there and how it fit with the pins. So it was a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge that I think is extremely helpful, gonna be very helpful for you before you spend your hard-earned money to make sure you get all of your questions answered. So the Facebook groups are an extremely wonderful resource for anyone who is planning a custom planner for yourself. I'm going to leave some of that information linked down below. And also, like I said, if you guys in the comments have any suggestions for other resources or other things that we all can check out to get more information, please don't hesitate to comment on that too. And when you're ordering your custom planner through Vanderspec, you will use email, not all the time. If you want something that's not specifically listed on the website, or you want to change the dimensions in a different way that's not listed on the website, you're going to email. hello@vdsshops.com. You're gonna send an email, and it's Petra Vanderspek who actually heads up the customer service, and you're always going to deal with Petra. She is absolutely wonderful. She is extremely patient. She answers all of the questions, and she really does try to make sure this experience is one that is a positive experience for you. She'll go above and beyond to make sure that happens. Of course, they are very busy, so sometimes it may take a day, 2 days for Petra to get back to you, so relax. She will get back to you, but you want to have all of these questions answered. You want to have all of this information at your disposal before you make your purchase. Like I said, you want to make the most educated and thoughtful decisions when planning a custom planner, and these are my top tips for how to do that. I don't want anybody wasting their money. I don't waste my money, so I don't want you to waste your money. So I'm very hopeful that these tips will be helpful for all of you in the market for planners, whether you want to get a custom one directly from Vanderspek or whether you do want to check out the resale market, because it's amazing and you may find your unicorn planner there. You never know, and you can get it, like I said, in a matter of weeks as opposed to a matter of months. And my top tip above all, I'm winding this up, but my top tip above all is be prepared to love it. I think you are going to absolutely love having a custom planner. If you're really deep into planning, you're gonna love having one that's made specifically for you, to your exact dimensions, to your exact colors, to your exact everything. Be prepared to love it, because you absolutely will. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down in the comments. Again, I'll have anything I mentioned linked below, and I'll see you in the next one.